Uh, just listen to this. This is a great album. I love that you're joining us, hanging out with me and Mark Platt this morning, and we're listening to his new album. It's Sins of the Family. We're listening to Settle My Mind right now. It's good. I was telling Mark the album. I couldn't. I had to choose six songs, and it was very hard to do, but it's very enjoyable to do. And then I thought, you know what? Like I swapped two out a couple times, and I said, no, no, no. I'm just going to send people to Bandcamp, Mark Platt, Bandcamp, Sins of the Family, and then they can get the whole album,
Yeah,
and
it's
they
like
can listen
13 or
to. They can
14
pick out their
songs.
own.
So,
Yeah,
right.
they could like. I don't have to play all of them. That this is a good way to get them to get their album because it's. But I do think we've picked some really good songs that we're playing this hour on the show. Welcome
Hey,
back, Mark.
Jeremiah, have you noticed that most of the songs are under 3 minutes on that record too?
I did notice that, and you know what? I thank you. The reason why is because of when I do these bumper commercials for the shows. Every, as you know, every show has a new soundtrack. So most songs these days are like 4 or 5 minutes that I have to find the perfect spot because I don't want to cut and ruin the song and the feeling of the song. And so most of my bumpers are, a minute, minute and a half, and sometimes I get in trouble for that on the radio stations. Uh, but you've got it. It's like kind of like the Beatles used to do, and a lot of the bands used to have they had that radio cut, right? It was like 2 minutes, 2:30, somewhere around there, right? And that's perfect. I can almost, and I did play an entire song a couple times during this episode because they're the right they're the right length where you can do that without going 5 minutes in. What were you gonna
Absolutely.
say? Did I
I,
just
I
take
was
away?
gonna say, yeah, like Yesterday by the Beatles is 2:05. I love that
I do
personally.
too. It's because and if you're a great songwriter, great arranger, great musician, that's enough. Like you got hooked and it didn't
Don't
have to
bore
go
us,
on.
get to the chorus, right?
Yeah, it's like it's really it's got to take talent to do that, I'd imagine, to really figure out what and not go to kind of edit yourself. Nobody, it's hard to self-edit ourselves, and it's really great to listen to when it's like that. I think really stays with you. So, did you realize, Mark, that you had created an album that would resonate like this one does?
I was
I mean,
hoping, yeah, and then I got a couple of really amazing reviews too, which, and the reviewers are all kind of our age too, so it resonated with them. And, I think it's really important, you know, that even younger audiences that listen to this stuff realize that, hey, we're all going to be in this same boat, of
mhm.
dealing with our family issues and how it carries into our relationships and things like that.
Well, speaking of reviews, John V, his Electric Avenue blog, I wanted to plug that because he wrote a great review of Sins of the Family. I thought it was a really right on review. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So the lyrics, I'm thinking of a way to word this. Do the lyrics come easy to you, or I mean, what's your writing process? Does it flood you, or sometimes is it hard to try to express what you're trying to express in that great little 2.5 minutes, three
Well, I
minutes
would
of a
say
song?
for me, like I really have something I want to say. So I
Mm-hmm.
may start it out like in the most like I've taught songwriting for 15 years, and I always use Van Morrison's Brown Eyed Girl as a great example. It's how much content can you put in 5 syllables, right? Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came. He
Mm-hmm.
says a lot there. That's 2 lines. That's 10 syllables. That the beauty of songwriting is to be able to say something with the least amount of us, ands, does, and you don't in songwriting you don't need to have a lot of that. So I try to count out my syllables, and like I'll go back and look at the lyric to make sure that I'm saying giving as much bang for the buck as you can get in a line without overcrowding it. And that because if you overcrowd as a songwriter, if you overcrowd the lines with too much lyric, then people don't get the melody. And you want each note to have a syllable assigned to it, you know?
Hmm.
And so that I take my songwriting very seriously that way, you
We
know,
came
kind of.
back in with Settle My Mind. And I love, speaking of an example, where did time go? Needing time, figuring it out. If I'm right, I think those go in succession pretty much in the song. And I
Right.
thought, where did time go? You know, do we all think about this, don't we? Where did time go? What it's the most important thing, especially as we get older. I think it's like, wow, where did time go? But I need time. I can't. I need to figure it out. You need to figure it out. Needing time, figure it out.
Well, a lot of people would say,
Where,
where did all the time go?
mm-hmm,
For me, it's where did time go?
mm-hmm. Need to figure it out. Stop.
Exactly.
Yeah. What inspired that song and that lyric? Was there a circumstance?
It's that meditative state again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, that's where time can stand still, right? You know, in that meditative state. When you sleep and you wake up, you're not aware of time. Does that make sense? I hope.
Yeah, just it's profound. Actually, I was just kind of thinking about it. Yeah, you're so true. You're so right.
And those
Um,
are themes that I hit all the time in my
mhm.
songwriting, you
And I
know.
think that's what some of the things that create that connection to the song as a listener, right? Some of those you're hitting some of those themes that aren't always like brought forward or said out loud, but it's things that we all go through.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I love Tom Petty. Tom Petty, another amazing, he's just an incredible writer. You know, a song from 1980 that means even as much to me now is a song like Listen to Her Heart, you know? It has a different meaning now than it had in 1980 when I first heard it, you know? But it's like that great songwriting transcends the decades.
Mhm.
Classic, iconic songs, you know, Born to Run, or, you know, these, you know, even though Born to Run has this incredibly huge, long story, but Baby, We Were Born to Run. That resonates with people when
Yeah.
they're out driving and they hear it. That
At
was
different ages of your life too.
yeah, the
Yeah.
beauty of Springsteen and beauty of like these classically great pop rock and roll songwriters is to be able to take an idea and a thought and for it to transcend the decades like that.
And mark your life. So we got to take another break and we're going to play. Here's an example of, to me, this is my favorite song on the album right now. I'm sure that will change, but that's why this is such a great album, because you fall in love with new things at different times, as Mark just pointed out, in your life and throughout your time here. But this is my favorite right now, and I think this is a hit. It just is beautiful. I'm gonna let you listen to it on your own. It's called "It's Been a While," and the reason that this was my favorite is it's the lyrics, the chorus, really great, memorable, kind of sing along type of a song, anthem kind of a song, but it really brought up like love's lost. We've all had them, right? It's been a while, it's been a while since I've seen you, and it's been a while. Just made me start to think about people that I miss, that may have not ended well, and you don't talk to each other anymore, people that you loved in your life, but it's been a while, and it's kind of a sweet thought. So before we play that, I'm going to play that in its entirety here at the break. Mark, what have you learned about yourself through the process of creating this album?
That it's helpful to talk to people who it's been a while, like maybe an ex, and that to catch
Mhm.
up is a very important aspect of, I always look at myself. I don't want to have people walking this planet that have bad vibes for me. So I think it's good to catch up with old friends, old bows, and all that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of what that song is about for me.
Yeah, great song. Okay, let's play it. It's called "It's Been a While." It's on Mark Platt's new album. You got to pick up a copy. You're gonna love. We've only been able to play 7 songs. We're gonna play a featured song coming up here in a moment. But we you got to pick up the album. It's a great Sins of the Family. The one that got away is our featured song coming up after or for our final break here. This is our final break. It's been a while. Enjoy, and we'll be right back.